All right, the game in front of you is called Azul. Right now I have it set up to be played by 2 players. In order to make an adjustment for 3 or 4 players, simply just add 2 more of these circular discs in the box and populate them with 4 tiles each. So for 3 players there should be 7, for 4 players there should be 9. What's important to note is first, each player is going to need a scoring block, which can be found in the box, and there is a first player token. This goes to the player who has most recently traveled out of the country. If nobody's been out of the country, then that's going to go to the player who has most recently left the state. So that will be assigned in that fashion. The object of the game is to fill an entire row on your wall. So, for example, let's say this last row here, I would need to have a yellow, red, black, blue pattern, and blue tile in my bottom row in order for the game to end. However, you will score a lot more points for vertical rows that you are able to complete, for little consecutive rows that you can form, as well as for populating each of the 5 blocks for a color on your wall. So it's important to be careful when thinking about ending the game to make sure that you're scoring as many points as possible. So since I have the first player token, let's go ahead and get started with the first part of the game, which is going to be the factory claiming phase. So on your turn, during this phase, you have 2 options for actions. Your first one is that you can choose to take all of the tiles from any of the factories with tiles, or you can choose to take tiles from the middle, all of one color. There's nothing there, so I'm gonna have to choose a factory. Let's go ahead and pick this one because we have 3 orange tiles. You're gonna wanna consider the likelihood of you getting more orange tiles. So take a look at the board and kind of judge that as you will. Let's say that I think I can get 1 more. So I would take these and populate my 4th row like so. Now, the trick of this is that you can't repeat colors in rows, and you can only have 1 color. You can't repeat a color in a column, but the only color that can be in a row is the color that you started the column with. If that makes sense. So I can't have orange in any of my other ones, but I can only put an orange in this 4th slot. So after I complete my turn, tiles that are left over, because I can only play once on my board, go to the middle like so. Play will then pass to the second player, who will select a factory's tiles to take. Let's say that they want to take the blue tiles, so they can place those like so, and then the 2 black tiles will go in the middle. Now on my turn, I can choose to take the 2 black tiles, the blue tile, or otherwise. I have neither of those on my map, so those could be good options. But I do want to make sure that I get that other orange to fill my row. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to take that orange to populate my row, and then put the rest of these in the middle. Play is going to continue just like that until all of the tiles on the factories and in the center are gone. Once that has happened, we're going to populate our walls. To populate your wall, you're going to look for all rows that you have on your chart that are full. So, for example, let's say that there's a red token there. So I will get to take the furthest most right of my orange and slide it across until I find that here. Now I only have 1 red here, so I can't really do anything with that. So that's all I can do to populate my wall. You'll take what you've populated though, so these other 3 oranges, and put them in the lid of the box. The other player will likewise do the same, and then the factories will be repopulated with 4 tokens each. Obviously these would be gone, and play will continue with the gaining and placing of tilings from your strategy to your wall. Any tiles that do not move over in the tiling phase remain on your strategy board. So I cannot remove this red token unless I put another red token here before the end of the next round. All right, so let's say that I go ahead and on my turn, I take this pocket here. Well, I want to get rid of that red so I can take this red, but I do have to take all of that color. Now I have an extra red that I can't put anywhere on my board because I can't have 2 rows of the same color. So I'm going to have to place that tile down in my floor, which is going to give me -1 points at the end of this round. So let's fast forward and say that we're able to get rid of all the tokens. I can move this over. This goes in the box, but I am going to lose a point for this one. So for scoring, when you move a tile over onto your board, you score 1 point for standalone tiles, and you will score an additional point for any tiles in a consecutive nature. So if I were to add this tile to this pattern, I would get 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Obviously, if it's connected to more tiles, you're going to earn more and more points. So after each round, do make sure that you're scoring and accounting for your floor tiles. So let's say that I put this red token in this time. Well, that's 1 point because it's not connected to anything. And I lost a point, so I'm actually breaking even and I won't score any points. And then you will discard your floor tile to the lid of the box. The game is going to end, as I mentioned, when one player has fully populated one of their rows all the way across. This means that the game is going to be over and every player will total their additional points. This breakdown can be found on the back of the rulebook if you would like to revisit these numbers. So you will get 2 points for each complete horizontal row on your board. So I would get 2 points. You would get 7 points for each completed vertical row on your board. I don't have any of those, so I'm still sitting with 2. And you would get 10 points for each color that you have populated to all 5 of its spaces on your wall. I don't have that, so again, I'm only getting those 2 points. That's why you have to be careful when ending the game, because if you're only going to get 2 points, people who have populated their boards in more strategic ways are going to be able to take that victory from you, even though you ended the game. Up here, this is how you're going to keep track of your score during the game. So after each time you populate your wall, make sure you are moving that along, accounting for your floor tiles, and at the end of the game, adding that score to your total score at the top of the board. That's how you play Azul. If you have any questions, you can check out the rule book on the table, and I hope you have so much fun. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.